Why do some people keep losing money, even when they start earning more? Why does it seem as though opportunities naturally appear for some people, while others walk straight past them without even noticing? Why can you read dozens of books about financial success, learn everything about budgeting, investing, and discipline, and still find yourself in exactly the same place? The problem is not always a lack of knowledge, and most of the time, it is not a lack of ability. The deeper issue often lies in what happens inside us before a conscious decision is ever made, in the patterns that shape our automatic reactions, our invisible limits, and even our sense of how much we believe we are allowed to have. Today, we are going to work with that deeper layer, gently, without forcing anything, one step at a time. Before we begin, let's take a moment to understand what we are actually going to do and why it may be helpful. Much of the way we respond to life is shaped by familiar patterns of attention, emotion, and expectation. We naturally notice information that fits the beliefs we already hold, while often overlooking information that does not. This is not magic. It is part of the way attention works. The brain constantly filters an enormous amount of information, and our existing beliefs can influence what stands out to us, what feels important, and what possibilities we recognize. If for years you have carried the belief that there is never enough money, your attention may automatically focus on experiences that reinforce that belief. The unexpected bill, the opportunity you missed, the price that went up, the money that disappeared too quickly. Not necessarily because the world contains only scarcity, but because your attention has become highly trained to look for it. The good news is that these patterns are not necessarily fixed forever. Through repeated experiences, intentional reflection, emotional learning, and mental rehearsal, we can gradually begin to create new internal associations. Over time, this may influence what we notice, how we respond, and which choices begin to feel possible or natural. That is why this practice is not built around forcing yourself to repeat positive slogans you do not believe. Instead, we will work gently with imagery, body awareness, attention, and emotional experience. Think of it less as magic and more as mental and emotional training. One session will not transform your entire life overnight, but what we repeatedly focus on internally can gradually influence what we notice, choose, and do externally. And that is where change can begin. Before we begin the practice, see whether you recognize yourself in any of these thoughts, not so that you can judge yourself, simply so that you can notice. I never seem to have enough money, no matter how much I earn. Having a lot of money is for other people, not for someone like me. To earn real money, I have to struggle, sacrifice, and exhaust myself. Rich people are dishonest, or they were simply lucky. I feel uncomfortable asking to be paid what my work is worth. If I had a lot of money, I might become a different person, and that scares me. If even one of these thoughts feels familiar, that is okay. It is not a diagnosis, and it is not a life sentence. It may simply be the echo of an old belief. And today, we are going to begin working with it. Find a quiet place where you are unlikely to be disturbed for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Sit comfortably or lie down. Whatever feels best for you. Allow your body to relax while keeping your attention gently present. Take a slow, deep breath in and a long, easy breath out. Take another breath in, and as you breathe out, allow your shoulders to soften and drop. And once more, breathing in and breathing out just a little more slowly than before. With every exhale, allow the body to become slightly heavier, slightly softer, slightly calmer. Thoughts may continue to appear. That is completely normal. You do not need to stop them. Simply allow them to pass, like clouds moving across the sky. My voice will guide you from here. There is nothing you need to force, nothing you need to perform. Simply listen and allow whatever images, feelings, or sensations arise to come naturally. Imagine that with every breath in, you are allowing a little more calm into your body, and with every breath out, you are releasing a little of the tension you have been carrying. Tension from today, from this week, perhaps tension that has been there for much longer. There is nowhere you need to be right now. There is nothing you need to solve in this moment. For now, your only task is to be here, to listen, and to allow yourself to slow down. And whenever your mind wanders, that is okay. Simply return gently to the sound of my voice. Now, gently allow an image, a memory, a feeling, or perhaps simply a physical sensation to arise. Something connected with money and with the feeling of not having enough. You do not need to search for anything dramatic. Perhaps it is a memory, perhaps it is a familiar situation, or perhaps it is simply a feeling in the body. Notice where you feel it, in your chest, your shoulders, your stomach, your throat. Do not analyze it. Just notice. Give this feeling a little space. You do not need to resist it. You do not need to fight it. Simply acknowledge, yes, this has been part of my experience. This may be part of my history, but it does not have to define my future. Take a slow breath in, and as you breathe out, Imagine that the feeling begins to soften. It does not need to disappear. There is no need to force it away. Just allow it to become slightly less dense, slightly less heavy, slightly easier to hold. Now imagine that someone is standing in front of you. It is you, but a calmer version of you, a wiser version, a version of you who has gradually released some of the old fear, pressure, and limitation around money. This version of you is not perfect. They do not have every answer, but they feel grounded, clear, steady. They look at you without judgment, and silently you may ask, "What do you understand about money that I am still learning?" Then wait. Do not force an answer. Perhaps a word appears, an image, a sentence, or simply a feeling of reassurance. Whatever comes is enough. And if nothing comes, that is also completely fine. Simply remain here for a moment. And whenever your thoughts wander, gently return to my voice. Now begin to introduce a new thought, not as something you must force yourself to believe, not as a loud declaration, more like a quiet possibility, a new idea that you are allowing yourself to consider, silently or in a soft whisper. Repeat, "I can learn to feel calmer and more confident with money." Pause. "I am allowed to receive more than I once believed was possible for me." Pause. "Opportunities can come through ease, creativity, connection, and clear action, not only through struggle." Allow those words to exist inside you for a moment. You do not have to believe them perfectly. You do not have to convince yourself of anything. For now, simply allow them to be heard. Now imagine the space around you becoming lighter, more open, more spacious. In this space, you do not need to fight for every breath. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to solve your entire future today. Imagine that there is enough space for you, enough time for the next step, enough possibility for something new to emerge. Notice what happens in your body as you allow yourself to experience even a small sense of safety. Perhaps your shoulders drop a little more. Perhaps your breathing becomes easier. Perhaps something inside you becomes quieter. This feeling of safety does not mean that every problem has already been solved. It means that inside you, there is beginning to be more space for new decisions, more space for clarity, more space to notice what fear may have hidden from you before. Now imagine an ordinary day in your life sometime in the future. Not a fantasy, not a perfect life, just an ordinary day in which your relationship with money feels a little calmer. You wake up, and the first thought about money does not immediately bring panic. You check your finances with more clarity. You notice an opportunity, perhaps a small one, a conversation, an idea, an invitation, a possibility you may once have ignored. And instead of reacting automatically from fear, you pause, you think, you choose. You make a decision from a slightly calmer place. Notice how you carry yourself in this version of your life. How do you stand? How do you breathe? How does your voice sound when you talk about money? Perhaps you no longer apologize for discussing payment. Perhaps you ask questions. Perhaps you say no more easily. Perhaps you allow yourself to say yes. Perhaps you simply feel more present. Stay with this version of yourself for a little longer. Allow your mind and body to become familiar with the feeling. And whenever your attention drifts away, simply return to my voice. Now bring to mind one thing you feel grateful for in this moment. It does not have to be connected with money. Perhaps it is the warmth of the room, the support beneath your body, a person in your life, the silence around you, or simply the fact that you gave yourself this time. Gratitude is not about pretending that everything is perfect. It is not about ignoring problems. It is simply another way of training your attention to notice not only what is missing, but also what is already here. Stay with that feeling for a few moments. And now, slowly, begin to bring your attention back to the room around you. Feel the surface supporting your body. Notice the temperature of the air. Begin to hear any sounds around you. Take a deeper breath in, and as you breathe out, gently move your fingers and your toes. Perhaps stretch your hands. Roll your shoulders. There is no need to rush. Take your time. And when you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. You can return to these these statements throughout the day. Repeat them gently, without pressure, without trying to force yourself to believe anything. I am learning to feel calmer and more confident with money. I allow myself to notice new opportunities. I can make financial decisions from clarity rather than fear. Ease and financial well-being can exist together. I am gradually changing the way I relate to money. I do not have to suffer in order to deserve a good outcome. I give myself time to change. Your practice for the next 7 days. Keep this simple. No complicated spreadsheets. No strict rules. For the next 7 days, notice any new financial opportunities, even very small ones. An idea, a conversation, an invitation, a possible solution. Write down unexpected coincidences or useful connections when they happen. Pay attention to your own thoughts about money. Do they feel even slightly calmer? Do you notice an old fear more quickly than before? And record your small wins, even the ones that seem insignificant. A better decision, a conversation you previously would have avoided, an expense you handled calmly, an opportunity you noticed, a boundary you set. Do not force anything. Your task is simply to observe. Change often begins internally. We are not promising miracles, and we are not saying that one practice will suddenly transform your financial life. Real change rarely works that way. But when the way you see yourself and the world begins to shift, your decisions can begin to shift with it. And decisions, repeated over time, become habits. Habits influence actions, and actions can gradually create different results. Thank you for spending this time with me. May every small step you take today become part of a calmer, clearer, and more confident path forward.